This is the Board of Education meeting for which adequate notice under the Open Public Meetings Act was provided by written notice on January 5th, 2017 to the Courier News, the Echo Sentinel, the Star Ledger, Tappan to Warren, in the clerks of the Borough of Watchung, the townships of Greenbrook, Long Hill, and Warren. Roll call, Mr. Size.
Ms. Barone?
Here.
Mr. Collins? Ms. DeMizio?
Here.
Mr. Fahey? Here. Mr. Fallon?
Yes.
Ms. Spector?
Here.
Mr. Hunsinger?
Here.
Mr. Martins? Dr. Shabilsky?
Here.
And Mr. Morris.
Here. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, Mrs. Fechner, I'm not sure if you are aware why these students are here.
To listen to me lecture to them.
So, that too, to hear your stories, but they are also here to perform for you, for your last meeting. So they had their dress rehearsal today, and they came tonight to sing a couple of songs. And I know you actually said that you're having trouble, you have a conflict with Thursday night's concert. So I know you'll get here at some point, so it's nice that they're actually able to come and give you a little preview.
Emma? Okay, so,
She does.
One minute, of course, let me just tell you who this is. This was the superintendent of Watchung Hills when I was chairing a personnel committee, and I was really quite new to the job. And I watched Mr. Bailey come up from history teacher, social studies teacher, and then department, and then vice principal, and then principal. And our enrollment was down to 1,000. And I said, let's do a principal around the superintendent. And I got the facts.
The only thing she didn't say, well, the only thing she didn't tell you is, when I met Sandy, and over the years, I used to say, why does this beautiful, elegant, bright person like me, I said that to her. And she said, I understand.
She likes it too. We've been through a lot of good times.
Absolutely. Enjoy the scene.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. And you.
well, Ms. Fechner, we want to thank you for 36 and a half years of serving Watchung Hills. We wish you the very best, and this is just a little way for us to show our gratitude to you. So this is for you.
May the Lord bless you and keep you.
Thank you.
And give you peace.
Very soon.
Thank you, Mrs. Byrd.
Thank you. Good to see you.
And I will make
Thanks,
sure,
everyone. We'll see you on Thursday night. Looking
Thursday.
forward to it.
we'll remind everyone tonight. Thank you so much.
Yeah, please be.
All right, in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, be it hereby resolved that the board move into executive session to discuss confidential student personnel and legal matters, after which action may be taken. It is expected that the matters discussed in executive session will be made public as soon as the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. Thanks. Let's go. All right, and we are back into public session. Next on the agenda is superintendent comments. Ms.
Okay,
Jewett?
so I'm going to share our student report update as well. Bear with me, I have things in a couple different places. One of the news items that we just learned of today, our students learned that they made the region band and choir today. So we had 17 students make the regionals for a band, and I am going to read their names. This is really a tremendous honor. We had 12 last year, so this is an increase from last year, which is very nice, and we had 6 students got into region choir. So the six students who got into region choir are Summer Stewart, Benjamin Algor, Christine Tanko, Madalena Goffredo, Kira Anthony, and Angelina Carano. And the students who got into regions for band, Region 2 Symphonic Band, Lindsay Shee and Kathleen Luo, flute, Katie Tan, Alan Wang, Olivia Zhu, John I normally have the students do these names for a reason. John Kolovacek, so I apologize if I'm saying any of these incorrectly, clarinet, Matthew Schaefer and Ryan Branco on trumpet, Christina Sirico on trombone, Region 2 Orchestra, Tyler Wu, Catherine Kai, Dave Key, Victor Hu for violin, and for Region 2 Wind Ensemble and Orchestra, Carl Peterson for trumpet, Jeremy Q, first chair oboe for both ensembles, Jack Haran, first chair bass trombone for both ensembles, and Ethan Marmolejo's first chair tuba for both ensembles. So that's really, really impressive. And Dennis Kelly will be doing an article on this in the paper in case you didn't catch all of that I just said.
And for Ethan Marmolejos, that's his 4th year in the
Wow.
All Central region is as first chair. So every year he's been in the school, he's been first chair on tuba. So
We also, as you may have seen in the echoes, we did make the 8th annual AP honor roll. They just said there was, I think, 49 districts in New Jersey that made the honor roll, 447 overall. And that's one of the recognitions that we've received that I do find very meaningful, because it doesn't only have to do with increasing achievement, but it's also based on increasing access. So we have increased the opportunities for our students to take AP courses, so the number of students continues to increase, as does our student achievement, which is not surprising given the amazing students we have and the teachers that are committed to helping them grow. So that's really nice recognition for the staff and students and the district overall. We also received a letter from the NJDOE that is affirming, if you recall, we had submitted for an equivalency waiver for the CUSAC process based on our status as a high-achieving and high-performing school district, and they did send us a confirmation letter of that today, which means we have a 3-year waiver before we have to go through the CUSAC monitoring process again. So that's nice, and I have to credit Ms. Bolero, who is here. She compiles all of that entire report for the DOE. She coordinates with everyone, so we did get that letter today, which is nice, so we don't have to worry about that for another 3 years. Okay, in terms of the student happenings, so we are pleased to report that 15 Watchung Hill students have advanced to the semifinalist round in the 2018 National Merit Scholarship Competition. This is the highest number of semifinalists in school history. Last spring, 68 students, also a school record, qualified for the competition. Students from the Choral Ensembles Club performed the national anthem at TD Bank Ballpark in Bridgewater on Friday, September 8th, 2017. September 9th, students from Tri-M performed at the 3rd Annual Millington Food Truck Festival in Millington, New Jersey. Performances featured instrumental and vocal performances. You know what? I pulled up the old report, I just realized. So I'm going to go to the sports report, and we'll add that one to the next meeting. I sent it to the students, and I can't find it in my email. The winter season is just starting, so this Friday, we have our home season opener as the Lady Warriors basketball team takes on Bridgewater Raritan, and our boys will be playing Bridgewater Raritan away. Our first home event for fencing is next Tuesday, December 19th, and we'll be hosting Gill St. Bernard's. Our wrestling opens up on December 20th against Somerville, and we have some special news from Ultimate Frisbee coach Ken Carnes. 3 Watchung Hills alums and 2 current students are going to be attending the U.S. Under-20 national team tryout in January. They were selected among a pool of hundreds of applicants. They are, from the class of 2017, Jesse Song, Sydney Wang, and Megan Ma, and the class of 2018, James Kennelly and Allison Hareski. So congratulations to them. And the last piece that I just wanted to give everyone a little bit of an update on, if you recall, yesterday was our first Wellness Day in the district. We had Challenge Day, which is an annual event, and yesterday we also hosted a Wellness Day for our staff and students. So we had the health fair going on for staff in room 107, and which also included an optical academy in room 4, where the students could, the teachers could get eye exams, and there was also eyewear available for them to select and purchase. And we also had things going on throughout the day for the students in their classes. And just to give you some examples of some of the types of activities and lessons that the students participated in, there were a number of classes focused on sleep. One of the teachers had their class do a sleep, they did not sleep in their classes, I should clarify that, but they had students take a brief sleep survey, and they actually talked about the harmful effects of blue light on sleep and health, and the ways, the blue light from our phones obviously, and the ways to promote good sleep. In another class, they looked at the wellness wheel, which has all the different types of wellness that you should be attuned to, and examples of what each type looks like. And each student set a goal for improving one factor and mapped out a plan on how they would do so. They also discussed noise pollution and white noise. In the world language classes, they took a famous work of art, and they, in utilizing the concepts of diversity, multiculturalism, majority, minority, tolerance, acceptance, they analyzed the murals, and they actually took a piece of the mural and created a combined mural from all the students in the class. In a history class, they actually did a reflection and meditation activity. There was a lot of yoga and meditation that was done yesterday through some of the classes. And in the English classes, they looked at a poem, The Guest House, and connected it to the 10-minute TED Talk, Make Stress Your Friend, and they talked about stress management. So those are just an example of some of the activities they did, and some of the comments from the students, which the health teachers, a number of the health teachers were very involved in overseeing this day. I know Jill Gleason, Patricia Tobin, Mrs. Fallon, can you make sure I'm not leaving out any of the folks who spearheaded the day? Beth Scheiderman and Kathleen Angelastro. So I know Jill said they're looking to survey the students in the health classes because that's where they see all of the students to get their feedback. But some of the initial comments was that the students had said they really felt listened to by their teachers when they were talking about some of their concerns and their stressors. And you could hear a lot of laughter in the classes throughout the building yesterday, which was nice. And they also talked about some of the strategies that they came up with, including collaboration and setting aside longer time targets for getting things done as their takeaways to alleviate stress. So there's some really nice conversation going on, and the feedback from the students was overall very positive. So it was a nice, for the first day that we were doing this, the teachers really, really bought into it and committed to it, and really, tried to plan some really innovative wellness-focused topics for their classes, which was great. So it was a good first day for that. And in January, we'll be piloting the Flex Day that we've talked about, where we're trying to build that time into the schedule for the students to have the opportunity to see their teachers, get extra help, focus on special projects. So more to come about that in January. And I think that is everything.
Excellent. I'm going to defer my comments to our special recognition this evening. So, Mr. Stiles, do you have any comments?
One brief one. Today we had our mid-year budget review at the Executive County Superintendent's Office. We do this every year. They review our budget, do the planning and where we are right now. And both Liz and I were there, and it went very well. They were very impressed with our planning, and they were very impressed with the way we're proceeding through this school year.
Excellent. Mr. Fallon?
Bob, can I just ask the superintendent, you addressed a couple upcoming sporting events. We've also got the chorus concert this week.
Yes, thank you. In fact, if you give me a second, I'm going to find the student report that we put together. Every month, we get reports from athletics, from Mrs. Obuck, and I know that I have that in here.
While she's looking for that, Thursday,
Yes, you can
the
speak about it.
14th,
Thank
is
you.
going to be our chorus concert. And Bob, we've got an orchestra, winter orchestra concert coming up
No,
also?
this is
No,
Pearl,
they just had that.
That was
We just missed
amazing.
it.
That was on Thursday.
and it'll be at 7 o'clock in Pasadena.
7 o'clock on Thursday, the 14th.
All right, I'm going to find this.
We had a preview tonight, for those who were here at 7.
Here we go.
All right.
Attached. Oh. Move on, and I'll come back to it. Thank you.
Well, next is the recognition of our retiring board members. So would you like to take this on?
Should I begin with this?
You
Okay.
shall.
So we do have a larger crowd than we generally have for our board meetings. And it's not just because they're so interested in what we're going to be talking about tonight on the agenda. We did reach out to some people just to let them know that in case they wanted to come tonight and express their gratitude for you, that there would be an opportunity to do so. So as you can see, we have a number of folks who turned out here tonight just for that purpose. Some of you were here earlier where you heard our choir perform 2 songs, Old Lang Syne and The Lord Bless You and Keep You. As those of you who know Ms. Fechner, all of you here tonight know, she is an avid supporter of the arts in the school. And I don't know if you've missed a concert, not in my time here, so I can't speak to before that, but she has her chair, her special spot where she comes and greets everyone as that you probably know about 90% of the people who come to the concerts. So she is, and I assume that I will continue to see you at those. So the choir came to express their appreciation. And so we wanted to take some time to do that tonight. I know, Sandy, that, you have always been an avid supporter of not only of me personally. I owe you a tremendous amount of gratitude and appreciation. Your experience and wisdom and knowledge of the district has been invaluable to me. You are always able to give me perspective on things that are happening based on things that have happened in the past. And, you speak very highly of my predecessors as well. And I was very excited to get to meet the very illustrious Mr. Bob Bailey recently. And Ms. Stromslin, Dr. Stromslin, rather, has certainly helped me with the transition here. So I was very blessed to come into a district that was in very good hands before I got here. But you really have always provided a tremendous amount of guidance to the board and to me. And so I'm really appreciative of that. And I hope that that won't stop just because you're not officially a board member anymore, because you certainly still have all of the wisdom that is very helpful as we move forward in the district. And you've probably seen more than anyone the tremendous changes that the district has gone through in your number of years on the board. From the course offerings to the people, to the evolution of cell phones. So you're...
To the building?
Yes. So we do have a resolution that I would like to read, and we have it framed for you here. So I will start off with this, and then we have a number of other people who would like to speak as well. So I'm going to ask you to come up here, and then you can just stand up here while everyone speaks as well.
Sarah and I love flowers, my daughter-in-law, so I'm going to look like Katharine Hepburn.
Except take them out of the plastic bag.
Yes.
You don't even know Katharine Hepburn.
Oh, I do.
Here, give me the green bag.
Who doesn't?
I like the King's bag.
Right?
Okay. Here's your
I
resolution.
just think they're so pretty.
Okay. This proclamation regarding Mrs. Sandra Fechner shall be read at the public meeting of the Watchung Hills Regional High School Board of Education on December 12, 2017. Whereas Mrs. Sandra Fechner has served the Watchung Hills Regional High School District as an outstanding board member for over 36 years, and whereas she has served on many committees during her tenure, sharing her expertise and insights in the areas of personnel, education, and community relations, and served with distinction as the chair of the Personnel Committee. And whereas she has worked tirelessly for our students with her every decision oriented toward giving students the best possible education, athletic, and co-curricular experience. She has proudly worked for the creation of the robotics program, changed the study of home economics to culinary arts, eliminated outlift programs, and brought in new programs to the district, such as board student representatives and peer leaders. And whereas she has continuously supported the hiring of outstanding administrators, teachers, guidance counselors, and support staff, and has been instrumental in the hiring of 5 superintendents. Thank you. She has been a part of many developments at WHRHS, from the creation of the Performing Arts Center to the integration of technology, all the way up to the district's current one-to-one Chromebook initiative, making WHRHS a school of excellence. And whereas she is a true civil servant, as exemplified by her dedication to the community, by not only serving on the WHRHS Board of Education, but also serving on the Watchung Board of Adjustment. She has served as a member of the Watchung Planning Board and is an active supporter of the Watchung Arts Center, Friends of the Library, Holocaust Memorial, Rescue Squad, and Volunteer Fire Department. That's quite a list. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Watchung Hills Regional High School Board of Education extends a heartfelt thank you to Sandra Fechner for her many years of devoted service to our school district, and wish her the very best and continued success in her future endeavors.
And I thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to have had a wonderful, wonderful ride and run and years. And truly, I think I've learned more than anybody who ever walked through the school from being here. I thank you.
Well, why don't you stay here? Because we're going to have, I'd like to open it up to board members for any comments that you have. I'm going to get you a chair.
I was just going to say, I'll get, you got it? Okay, good.
Bob, do
Take
we
this.
need a so moved first for the resolution?
Oh, I'm sorry. If you would say.
So moved?
Right there, Bob?
It's really touching my heart, but I'm being very...
Someone want to second that resolution?
Second.
Thank you, Lisa. Rita?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great. Any board members have any comments they'd like to make at this time? Mr. Honsu?
Sandy brought me into this, Sandy and Fran. And she was there whenever I had questions. And I watched how she did what she did, and it taught me a lot. I don't ever expect to rise to that level of being a board member, but I do try. And it's been a pleasure serving with you. And of course, I've known you since I was a kid, having gone to school with your children. So it's comforting to know that there's someone that's been around that long with that much experience invested in this. And I think that's what makes this school so special. People like you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other members? Ms. Demizio?
Sandy, we've served together for 7 years. I appreciate your wisdom and your institutional memory. I thank you for being my confidant, for always being available for me to talk to. I enjoyed our conversations. You've just been so supportive and a great help to me. I'll miss you very much, but I will see you. And as Barry just said, it's people like you, it's you that have made this school as special as it is today. So thank you very much for your service.
I'll be here for you, Lisa.
I know. Thank you, Sandy.
Other board members? Mr. Fallon?
Sandy, as I'm starting only my 10th year on the board, now succeeding you to the longest serving at a much shorter time, but you, in my years of service on here, have been invaluable to this board. And part of what makes it tick is we're all different people with very different perspectives. And I think the historical perspective that you brought and your unabashed enthusiasm for every program that would aid our students has been a real beacon for me and for other board members. And I thank you for that.
And here's Peter.
Any other board comments? Mr. Chabelsky?
Sandy, I think that the one thing that all of us can take away is your sole focus on what is beneficial for the student. Anytime there's a conversation or a heated debate, that is the question that you ask, that's the litmus test for what our decision should be. And I think sometimes some of us lose that focus, and hopefully all of us will think about you when those conversations happen and remember that that's why we're here. You really don't have a vested interest, the kids are gone, but still your dedication is to the community and making sure that our students have the best opportunities possible in this community, and for that we're all thankful.
Agreed. Thanks.
Any other board comments? Right, seeing none at this point, I'd like to go out of order and open it up for public comments. Please come up to the podium, state your name and community. This is your opportunity to address.
Good call on that.
I first met I'm Mary Sock, I'm a social studies teacher here at Watchung Hills High School. I don't know if you remember, Sandy, when we first met. It was actually out in the hallway here. It was the first year that I was starting, probably sometime in early September, and I was in the hallway with Steve Bartlett. And you came walking down the hall, and you introduced me to, Steve introduced me to you, and you walked away, and Steve Bartlett was like, I just love Sandy. And I was like, well, I thought the world of Steve Bartlett. So if Steve Bartlett thinks Sandy is great, I think Sandy is great. And over the years, I have confirmed that Sandy is fantastic. Jamie and I have done a number, as you know, of endeavors over the years related to the Diversity Club, the Green Project. We've been in front of the board for the UN project, and any of these endeavors, Sandy was our biggest cheerleader and our biggest supporter. You would go to the main office to check your mail. There would be a cutout from the newspaper with your picture in it, you know, with a handwritten note from Sandy, congratulations.
You did it again.
Right, or we were, you know, running the Upstander with Sarah Monica, had the Upstander campaign, anything that Sandy saw in the Star Ledger, the Courier News, the Echo Sentinel, it would be cut out, put in your mailbox with a lovely note. And it was just that level just of support, that you cared, that you were enthusiastic. And I just have to say, this past year, last year when I had sociology class, and I had the pleasure of you and Tom and Terry and Vivian coming into my class every 2 weeks, I can say it was the highlight of my year, and I know for the students, it had such a tremendous impact on them to sit and have a conversation with adults about major life issues as it relates to gender, as it relates to job choice, as it relates to race, class, religion, all of these pretty in-depth conversations that students probably have never had before, and they were great conversations to have, especially for the seniors as they went off to college, right? And here comes Sandy as the bell rings, walking down the hallway, being escorted by one of the senior boys who found her walking through and has his arm out, and Sandy's holding her arm. Like, where does this happen, right? Who does this? It's because Sandy is so charming. And I just want to say thank you so much for all that you have done. I think a lot of teachers, students probably don't realize the impact that you've had, but you have certainly seized the best in all of us and bring out the best in all of us. And thank you so much for that.
Mary, are you really talking
love
about
you.
me?
I just want to add, because Mary covered most of the bases, but thank you for being a champion of education. And by that, I mean both of the educators and of the students who are receiving the education. On a number of levels, you have, like Mary said, absolutely believed in every one of my crazy ideas and said, go for it, girl, you got it. And I really believe that I am a better teacher because you were my cheerleader behind me. So thank you. I'm going to try not to be too emotional. I also want to reiterate the fact that everything I have ever received from you, kind of like Dr. Chabelsky said, it is always thank you for doing this for our kids. They are your kids. You see these students as your civic responsibility, and I just can't thank you enough for always keeping them in mind. And lastly, on a personal note, I have in my drawer, my son is a freshman in high school now, And I have in my drawer a note that Sandy wrote me when he was born, 6 weeks early. And I was a wreck, and I was trying to decide whether I was even going to come back to work. And she signed it off with, congratulations to being welcomed into the joy of boys. I really hope you continue to work here because you will be teaching them so much about what it means to be a strong mother. And when I'm having a bad day, or I'm feeling like I'm dropping the ball in one part of my life, I whip that letter out, and it makes me feel better about both aspects of my life. So you have led me in many ways that you don't even realize. So thank you for all you have done for me, for the whole staff, and more importantly, for our kids. So Mary and I have a plaque that we had created
For our upstander.
for our personal upstander.
What an important accomplishment for the two of you with our students here.
Do you want
Oh,
to
well, thank you, Janie and Mary. Really, you've touched such an important part of my
You can go
life.
up, they have something for you.
In recognition of her outstanding 36-year commitment to the Watchung Hills Regional High School community, her unwavering passion for education, dedication to leadership, and firm belief in civic duty has left a lasting impact on the lives of young people.
I'm here.
Surrogate mothers.
Thank you. Oh, my gracious. What I whispered to her right now is, I may have all sons, but aren't these wonderful girls to have? Just take all your groups. Thank you. Oh my God. Okay.
Anyone else like to provide any comments?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
It's, as a footnote, it's also my last day, so I'm going to reserve my right to thank Sandy when I thank all of you at public comment.
Yes. Excellent. Other comments? Don't be bashful. Come on up. Oh, Sandy, while you're up there, you might as well stay. I think,
Just gonna get some water.
Pope has something for you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Pote. I'm mayor of Watchung. I'm also a class graduate, class of 1980. In fact, I guess it was as I was leaving, you were entering, in the capacity at least of a board member. Certainly many years before that with the family. One of whom I know, that one of the doctors I know is here this evening. I've known Sandy for about 45 years, and in fact, Sandy would park her car either on Price or Cardinal and wait to make sure that some of the students, myself included, got on the bus appropriately. So I've known her since she was Mrs. Beckner to me, and not just Sandy. So the town has a lot of pride in its people, and certainly a lot of pride in those who volunteer, like Barry and Sandy and others. And I just wanted to read this resolution that the mayor and council have put together on your behalf. And there's something else I wanted to present to you as well, so just hang in with me. So I read the following resolution. Whereas volunteering one's time and resources is an undisputed part of our heritage and is essential to the well-being of our community. And whereas the Borough of Watchung is especially proud when volunteers such as Sandra Fechner call our town her home. And whereas as a wife of a dentist who, after raising their 4 sons, all of whom went on to become medical doctors, Sandra, affectionately known as Sandy, put her expertise and knowledge to good use by dedicating her time as a member of the Watchung Hills Regional High School Board of Education. And whereas a retired educator, Sandy was instrumental in supporting activities and developing many programs at Watchung Hills during her 36-plus years as a member of the board, providing leadership and direction for the betterment of not just some, but all of the students that walk through their doors. And whereas no one better can boast of Sandy's commitment to her fellow residents than this governing body, as for the past 40 years, she has also volunteered as a member of the Watchung Hills Board of Adjustment. And that's something in itself. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council of the Borough of Watchung commend Sandra Fechner for her years of outstanding service and commitment to the Watchung Hills Regional High School Board of Education and extend their gratitude to her for all of the countless, unselfish, and dedicated hours she devotes to her staff, the residents, and most of all, the students. Thank you, Sandy.
and I did just want to, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but word gets around very quickly, and the New Jersey legislature came forward with a resolution, a joint resolution by the Senator Kane, Assemblyman Bradmick, and Assemblywoman Munoz. If you just indulge me, I'm just going to read just a couple of the paragraphs. I'll read the starting. It says, whereas the Honorable Sandy Fechner, a highly esteemed resident of the Garden State, is being saluted upon the conclusion of her distinguished tenure of service to the Watchung Hills Regional High School Board of Education. And it goes on to talk about all the good things that Sandy has done for the town. I'm gonna read one paragraph that I think is very important. Whereas the strength and success of the New Jersey, the vitality of its communities, and the effectiveness of our American society depend in great measure upon dynamic and concerned individuals exemplified by Sandra Fechner, who have provided a standard of excellence in volunteerism towards which others might strive. Be it resolved by the state and by the Senate and General Assembly of the State of New Jersey that this legislature hereby honors Sandy Fechner, pays tribute to her meritorious history of service and commitment to the citizens of Watchung and Somerset County, and extends sincere best wishes for her continued success in all future endeavors. Thank you, Sandy.
Growing up, they are all my kids, including the legislators in these towns. Watchung has been such a good place to live for me. I remember coming here and thinking, this is a place that I don't know anybody, and my gosh, I think I know everybody.
You know everybody. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Other comments?
You know, it's very difficult to go forth with this behind Sandy, because everybody's saying, who is she?
She's back-seated.
Oh, she's back-seated, I lost her. It's difficult because everybody's saying what I wanted to say, and I'll give you a little bit of a history lesson, Stephen. When I was coming up here tonight, I went through Watchung Center, and I went around a little bit, because I started here in 1968. Now think about that. That's 50 years ago, a half a century ago. I drove up here to take a job from then. Dr. Oldham offered me the job. And for, I don't know how many years, and Sandy brought this up to me, she talked me into going into administration. And I left the classroom with Steve Popes and Barry Hunzingers and outstanding students that made it fun. It made it fun to teach. His class, it was in 1979-80, and that was Reagan and Bush. Remember that? You know, not Reagan and Bush, it was Reagan and Carter. And the kids used to come into class yelling at each other, and I thought that was great. You know, because we're here to get kids to think and think critically. So Sandy was a big part of that. You know, she all the support that she gave to people, I always felt. All right? I did try to talk her into going to football games.
She went to her first one this year.
Did she really?
She did.
Only for the halftime, because the girls were going to be doing something.
She did.
It's better than I did, but she kept saying, let's talk about the arts and the music program. And I have to tell you, Sandy, my grandson and granddaughter play the violin.
Oh, yay. Oh, how wonderful.
So you rubbed off me more than I rubbed off on you. But as I was listening and I was thinking about tonight, I was thinking of a book called Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom. And there was a portion in the book in which he says, the author's, Maury was a philosopher and a professor at Brandeis University. And Mitch Albom would meet him every Tuesday to get advice. And one of the pieces of advice he said was, devote yourself to loving others. Devote yourself to your community around you. And devote yourself to creating something that gives you purpose and meaning. Sandy, you have devoted yourself to loving so many people. You have devoted yourself to the community. And you can see by the attendance here tonight you have meaning in a lot of people's lives. So thank you very much. And you don't have to get up.